What's up, MeatRobots again? Gray and Eric, just in the classic MeatRobots studio. How you doing today, buddy?
Pretty good. I just got a splinter on your floor.
Is that just from like my hardwood?
Yeah, I don't know what it's from.
Is that what is
No,
this?
I don't think it's from your wood. It's just.
Oh my god, that would be brutal. I think it's Hazel. I think that little dog just like what she does is she'll like bring a stick in the house and she just like sits there and just tears it up. Like she just will shred it into a million little pieces, and I'm guessing that's probably what that is.
Probably. It's all good. It really didn't go in my foot.
It was just trying to like
Yeah.
trying to.
So see, you got that coffee there. How you feeling?
I'm just waking up, man.
Dude, when I called you this morning, were you waking up? Like right when you texted
No,
me?
dude. When you called me, I like laid down for a second and I just got like all of the phlegm in my throat, so I sounded all messed up when I answered the phone. I was like, that's not what my voice sounded like 2 minutes ago. So yeah, that's really what that was. No, I've been waking up like just super late. My sleep schedule is like pushed back. Like I don't go to sleep until like 12 or 1 most nights because I don't need to get up early.
Well, you were up pretty early yesterday for LA, right?
For LA, yeah. I am starting to work a little bit more early shifts with clients, and then weekends I'm always out of the house by 7.
Yeah.
So
That's the problem with Breed. And like, Saturday through Monday, I'm up at 5 a.m.
yeah,
And then the rest of the week, I'm just like, okay, I get to go to sleep at like a reasonable hour, or not. So like I have to go to sleep at like 8:45, 9 o'clock when I'm working at Breathe, which never happens. I end up going to sleep at like 10, maybe a little bit later, and then come Monday, I have my morning shift, and then I'm up all day, and it's like finally I don't have to like go to sleep at fucking 9 o'clock in the morning or at 9 o'clock at night, so I can like do things with people I can like visit and socialize, and then I end up going to sleep like at sometimes like 2 a.m.
You get used to being up that late most nights, and then when you have to go to sleep at 9, you can't because you woke up at 10 that day.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're just like, yeah, that's my issue lately is that like part of my week I have to wake up early, part of my week I don't.
Yeah, it sucks.
It would be so much better if I could just find like a set time that I wanted to wake up every day regardless of what I need to do. And then like I could find ways to fill in that time. It's just like my thing is I like being up at like midnight.
Yeah, I've always been a night owl versus up early in the morning. I enjoy being up early in the morning, but most people are up later in the night. So like, if Sydney wants to hang out, like I can't just be like, yeah, come over at 6. Like I just finished eating food. Yeah, you gotta be out of here by like 8:30.
Totally.
It's like 2.5 hours. Like
Totally.
you can't really do all that much.
And like last night, I was playing a little Xbox with my brother. He's 3 time zones away. So if I want to play games with him, like 6 for him when he gets home from work is 9 for me. So we don't get started till like 9:30 or 10 on any given night playing video games. And like you want to play for a couple hours at least.
Exactly.
So like that's what has often happened is like we start playing and then like it's 10 for me when we start. We play sometimes like 3-4 hours.
And you're super stimulated from the game.
Maybe just super pissed off. by the time we finish, I'm like, God, I never want to play.
I told Zane that he's been playing Destiny because he's really big into gaming. He's like, oh, fuck Destiny, they're assholes. I guess they just did something to like... He said that they just pissed off and lost all like their following.
Well, like recently they did something that like, but they're like trying to correct it. They were just, the way they're releasing the next expansion, they were like selling like a sweet collector's package that had the old expansions in it. And so like people who already have the old expansions are the ones who probably want the collector's edition, but they don't want to pay extra money to get the same shit that they already had. So I've been talking to a few people who are pretty pissed about that. Thank you for broadcasting to everyone that I play possibly the nerdiest game of our generation.
Dude, it's okay. It's alright.
Yeah, so what else is new?
Let's see, what else is new? So yeah, yesterday I called Brockport and I was like, so I'm looking to get information about taking time off, but without having to reapply to the school. I'm like, oh yeah, a leave of absence, talk to so-and-so. So I called them, they didn't answer. And then this morning, they called me, and so I left a message. And she's like, yeah, you can take up to 3 semesters off at once. Just fill out this form online, and basically, like, you're on hold. But, like, I can take winter classes. I can't take spring or fall semesters.
Okay, you can take I can off-season
exactly.
semesters.
So like I was last year's like
so you can chip away a little bit.
Yeah, if
without
I decide
being like a full-time commitment. Yeah. That's cool.
So like I'm taking summer classes right now and I have 1 week left. And I told her like if I submit the form now, is it going to kick me off summer class? She goes, no. It's only taking you off school for fall and spring semesters. And I can take 3 semesters consecutively off before I actually get kicked out and dismissed from the school.
What did you say you're taking for summer right now?
I'm taking Intro to Ethics and Sport Nutrition, and Sport Nutrition has been a complete joke.
Has it really?
Super easy.
I thought it was pretty tough when I took it.
Maybe because it's an online course. So like
a little more compressed.
Basically, it's like two slideshows a week plus like a review sheet that I have to fill out, and the review sheet's like super easy. I catch myself just like not reading any of the slides and just filling out the review sheet.
For me, vitamins and minerals just like were tough for me.
I haven't even gone through that much about them.
Yeah, that's probably like a big like difference between the in semester and the summer semester.
How crazy is that though? Like we take the same class, we get the same credit for it, but
it's ridiculous.
But like I learn nothing, and you learn like a little bit.
I wouldn't say I am a master of vitamins and minerals.
Yeah, but like still your exposure to them was much more than mine.
I definitely did get a good exposure to them. I'm taking kinetics right now, and I'm realizing it's basically a hybrid of kinesiology and biomechanics, like those 2 courses. And I guess that's why kinesiology or biomechanics aren't really required for the kinesiology major, because kinetics kind of is between the 2. But having taken both of those classes last semester, there's been 1 week of this course where I actually really needed to watch the lectures.
Everything else is cake.
Everything else is just kind of carryover, and like I've always been kind of good at multiple choice. And I mean it's sad, but it's true, and like it's kind of something I've always been able to do pretty well on a multiple choice test, and like I've always like when I learn things, sometimes I think like this is my actual thought process. I'm like, I wouldn't be able to tell you if you asked me the question, but I'd be able to pick that answer out of 4 things.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's like the extent of like I don't need to study that.
Yeah,
like, I'm good, and I always score pretty well.
Yeah, that's like the weird thing about college.
I mean like
any tests.
Yeah, I mean anytime you try to standardize things, anytime you try to just like grow things larger, there's definitely something lost in that process.
I'd like to read some stuff about biomechanics, whether it's a course or not.
Dude, biomechanics is really, really neat.
Because like kinesiology was pretty helpful. It's like one of the only classes that I found any benefit from.
Yeah, totally.
While being in college, but I had this video of a kid that I saw squatting at the rec, and I've seen it happen. One of my clients is doing it too, and I'm not really sure how to correct it. But
one of my biggest things in biomechanics, one of the biggest things I've drawn from it is just kind of putting words to it. Is the volume off on this?
No.
But like, center of mass has to be over center of balance always, and it always will be. That's fact of the matter. It's always going to be. Like if you're stationary or if you're doing something kind of slow like a squat, it's always going to be the case that your center of mass is
even
over
if you're
your
off
center of
balance.
Even if you're off balance. What off balance means is that your center of balance is not optimal.
Right.
Like that's when you're on your toes or on your heels, and that's when you're more prone to tipping one way or the other. On your toes, you're probably not going to really tip. You have a pretty good like surface on the ball of your foot.
Yeah.
That you can catch yourself with, but you're just putting too much pressure on your knees going forward like that. On your heels, you're probably going to fall over. Maybe not probably, but you're way more likely
to tip. You don't have like that.
Fail your lift.
You don't have that last hinge.
Yeah. So, I mean, just like, if your center of mass is in the center of your foot, that means you can press evenly through this larger surface.
Yeah.
And it just makes you that much stronger.
It's all about efficiency in
to
that
be able
case.
to do that. Yeah.
So look at this video. Basically, I saw this kid squatting, and like his depth was good and everything. And I was like, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know that your hips are shifting like laterally during the squat." And I was I don't really know how to correct it because I've seen it with a few different people, and it kind of frustrates me because I look at it, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell these people to do to fix this. So I'm trying to like break it down and like figure it out. But I wanted to let him know so he knows at least.
Yeah, let me watch this, and you'll have to give me this video, and we can throw it in the feed. I was just working with a client the other day who had lateral shift in the hips. That's not even that severe.
Just keep watching as he fatigues, though.
Does it get worse?
Yeah. You see how it shifts to the right, though?
And like my other, right.
It goes that way.
Because the first rep, he was kind of more over his left leg.
You see it, though? Like, if you look at L5S1.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. Yeah,
like,
I guess it's kind of
like
a
lot
twist,
worse. Yeah, like, I don't know what it... Like, it's lateral flexion, maybe a little bit of rotation at L5S1.
Minimal lateral flexion. Really,
it's more like rotation and like favoring of like the right leg, I think. I don't know if it's like improper, like not bracing and staying tight enough and like locking his upper body and lower body together.
That looks like a favoring of the left leg to me.
Favoring of the left, so he's pushing off.
Whichever leg you're like more over. Like it looks like he's more over his left to you, right?
Yeah, so he turns his hips out.
Whichever leg is kind of straighter and like right under his hips, that looks more like he's over this leg, to me.
Yeah.
And I think
so maybe like a weak right glute or something like that.
I wouldn't bring it down to muscles. I would bring it down to awareness. Would be my fix first and foremost.
That's why it was like the first thing. 'Cause I know if I was crooked, like. I always think about my awareness.
Point it out to him. I know there's not a lot of mirrors in the rec center. That's one place where like I really would want him watching his form in the mirror, or just like what you did, like capture video of it and have him watch it. What I was doing with my client when I noticed this was I think it's good to practice like overcorrecting an issue, because it's gonna feel like you're overcorrecting.
Yeah.
So like practice like moving all the way to the opposite side. So like loading up over your left hip, loading up over your right hip, like sinking down to that bottom position of that squat, and just kind of, what does it feel like to shift my hips over my left leg? What does it feel like to shift my hips over my right leg?
Yeah.
And it's going to feel like you're way heavy on your right side if you're fixing it from being heavy on your left side.
Yeah, because like right now he obviously feels like he's squatting like symmetrically.
Yeah, it feels symmetrical. That didn't look too severe to me. One thing though, I would say, work on bracing.
Yeah, as I told him, I was like, I don't really know what to address specifically, but make sure you're bracing hard. Make sure you're
with proper bracing. A lot of things do work themselves out. So I mean, like bracing, awareness, just watching, knowing where he is. Like, it's unfortunate that there's not really a spot you can really watch your squat in real time. Because I think looking straight on in a mirror would give you a pretty good picture of what your form looks like.
You can't do it at my gym, but some gyms you can.
Yeah.
The problem with my other client is that he doesn't have like a good sense of awareness in his body. So like, you can really see a ton of like lateral flexion is when he takes the bar out of the rack and like his whole spine just kind of like becomes an S, like compresses and becomes an S, and it's like. Oof. But when he squats, it's not like that. He does shift to one side.
Well, is that body awareness or is that scoliosis?
I don't think it's scoliosis because it doesn't happen when he's actually squatting.
You think he's just kind of like being too loose under the
just
weight?
Being loose. And I tell him like to brace and stuff. It's just like weird.
Yeah, that's a huge thing on any big lift. Really, is like just that tightness throughout your whole body. Like your legs have to be firing on a bench press. Your glutes have to be totally active on a shoulder press.
Yeah.
Your lower or your upper back has to be firing on a squat. Your lower back on a deadlift. This and that. just throughout all these movements, the whole body needs some tightness, some level of tightness. And I think a lot of postural issues, like my fixes have always been just kind of trial and error fixes. Like I watch, I pay attention. Like I told you about, like I noticed with my squat, I was setting up and like my right foot was probably an inch too far back. I was square to the mirror, but I was like, my feet were
you're already setting up crooked.
So I was setting up crooked, and then I began favoring my left leg because of that. And I noticed, like, I would drop down in my squat, and I was favoring my left leg because of that. So my process to fix that was be very mindful of my foot placement, and I still am. This was just a couple months ago I realized this. I still am super, super mindful of it, of my foot placement. And I've since, like, even switched my squat stance. I've gone to a narrower, like, high bar.
Yeah. So you're not doing any low bar, you're mainly doing high bar right now?
Yeah.
Easy on the shoulder?
Not even that, just for the sake of, I want to squat deeper, I want to squat faster. I feel like high bar you can get a little bit more speed into it.
Okay.
It's that like kind of stability versus range of motion.
Yeah.
Where you have a greater range of motion, you might be
a little bit more unstable.
You might be less stable, but you'll probably be able to move through something faster.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like that, and like I do want to work a little bit more on Olympic lifts being more explosive for sport performance. So that's just a more like athletic squat, I feel like.
Have you found yourself getting psyched out by like observing your stance all the time, like being super mindful of it?
No, you know what? I think where it is right now, I'm very pleased with it. And I've taken a few videos. I mostly am just like watching in the mirror. Like
I need to be more consistent with mine. I mean, I'm always super mindful and like looking down, like I unrack, check my feet, like make sure everything's good, dance around a little bit. I try not to move too much, but
for me that setup is huge.
Yeah, I mean the setup is huge, and like you gotta be patient. You gotta make sure everything's good.
That's how I'm getting focused. That's how I'm starting a good set. With a consistent setup.
But sometimes I'll overanalyze things. I'm just like, is everything perfect? No, it's not. Like, is it perfect? I don't know. Is it perfect yet? And I'm like, I squat. I'm like, I don't know if everything's perfect yet. I'm already going down though, so I gotta come back up.
You know, that's the thing is I just have ground in a setup routine.
Yeah.
All of my big lifts.
Yeah, all mine too.
I set them up the same way, and I'm thinking like on my deadlift, it's like this little foot slap. I'm getting my feet under the bars, splitting my foot in half, and I'm always checking like each side as compared to the little like lines on the bar, the landmarks on the bar.
Yeah. I do all that same stuff.
And then I have that same, even down to my breathing. Like I'm doing my like bar setup yoga. Like no, it's actually like my ins and outs are coordinated with my movements to set up each lift. Especially on the deadlift, especially on Olympic lifts, it's that like grabbing the bar with my hands, sinking down.
The deadlift twerk.
Yeah, and I mean it's just like I always big exhale, and then I'm sinking into that position, loading up. Like I'm exhaling as I create tension, create a stretch.
Yeah.
On a deadlift, and then I'm inhaling as I drop into my starting position, and then I'm exhaling again as I pull.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
so like I'm dropping, bracing at the same time. So it's like this kind of like yoga flow almost. Like my movements coordinate with my breathing.
It's funny you say that. You mentioned like that yoga, and like when I think of yoga, like I think a lot of people think of like meditation too. And I keep bringing this up because it's been something that I've been kind of working through a lot. I've been doing like a bunch of different types of meditation. Like I was just doing like sitting like you're sitting right now, close my eyes, hands open, and it's like breathing and trying to become mindless. And I was finding that just be like another task that I have to do in my day. It's like, okay, I gotta set 20 minutes aside, and like it was stressing me out to like get this thing out of the way.
I think that's the exact like kind of opposite of what you want to get out of
Exactly.
meditation.
And then like the more like I would like read about meditation, people are like, yeah, if you don't have time to like, there's like this one meme, like everyone should meditate for 20 minutes a day. If you don't have time to meditate for 20 minutes a day, meditate for an hour. And that's kind of like the thing. Like if you're so busy and stressed out like that much, then you need to do it. And I felt like, you know what, I feel like I don't need to just meditate because I'm being told that I should. So one thing I've been doing like with my affirmations is like one of the things I always say to myself every day is just be present. So if I catch myself like kind of drifting off, like not paying attention to the task at hand, I'll just be like, you're not focused, take a deep breath, and I'll just be like, be present. I'll say like in my head, be present, take a deep breath, just relax, and it's like, okay, now I'm focused, now I'm centered. And now I'm kind of trying to do that with everything I do. Like when it comes to lifting, just pay attention to lifting. Like I don't have my phone around me. Like just pay attention to the lift. Like don't think about like work, don't think about school, don't think about like anything I want to do, like podcasts or anything like that. Just think about lifting. When I'm doing my mobility, it's like my mobility is like my most zen time. That's why I like do it every single day. Like my mobility is fine. I don't really have to keep up on it. Like I'm not tight anywhere per se. I don't really have too many imbalances. But I do it because routine, it's a routine that like I can take 15-20 minutes where I'm like stretching, I'm like moving around, like I'm engaged with my body, and I'm doing a lot of breathing when I'm stretching. I'm trying to relax, I'm trying to like decrease that tension in my muscles. So like it's a nice time to like become zen, get into the moment. So like I'm trying to do that with every single thing I do.
I think being like present, being in something like whatever the task may be, like as you get more familiar with it, it becomes more automatic.
Exactly. Like I get into that alpha state every single time I stretch.
Yeah, and I think that's really valuable to find that place and to just experience that and be present in that, where you don't need to really think about it. I find that I found that in like some jobs I've worked, like when I was like refinishing wood, and your day goes so much faster if that is just what is happening. Mm-hmm. You are just painting the door, or you are varnishing the door, or you are sanding the door. If you're just kind of present in that, paying attention to your task, rather than being miserable at work, you're just there and you do your thing. And then the day ends. It blows by way faster if you don't think about like, I can't wait to get home. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I gotta run a raid in Destiny.
Yeah, I kind of like that about Breathe. Like a lot of tasks are just like repetitive. Like they're kind of mindless tasks,
they
but
don't
it keeps you busy.
require a lot of thought. Yeah,
yeah, they keep you busy.
They keep
you
busy.
I peeled probably like 200 lemons yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely.
And that's like
I definitely let my mind wander, and that slows down my day, and kind of. I'm doing things that I could be perfectly pleased, perfectly zen doing, but I'm just kind of, a lot of the time I'm just thinking too much and letting my mind wander. And
running through different situations and stuff like that.
And that definitely detracts from
your productivity,
my enjoyment of the day. Yeah. Productivity, I think, is going to be the same either way, because it's this automatic, it's this mindless task, really. It's not. Like, I don't have to be super crazy conscious of what I'm doing. Not to say that I don't think while I'm working, but it doesn't require super high levels of conscious thought.
I definitely think for some tasks, like...
I've done it enough times.
Yeah. Obviously, something that's a routine is going to be less demanding, but being present, like, really telling myself to focus on this task at hand really helps me like stay on task and stay productive, but not even in a sense of like getting a lot of things done. Like if I have like a huge list of things I need to do throughout the day, then focusing on each one, first of all, I'm going to have that task be quality, like I'm going to perform it with quality, and I'm going to get more stuff done.
Rather than focusing on, I have so much shit to do.
Yeah, but also I find it really important for like if I'm just relaxing, like okay, it's time to like hang out with Sydney, or it's time to like watch a movie, or it's time to like whatever, like when I'm relaxing, I find myself thinking about like, okay, I didn't get to all these things on my list, like I need to think about, or like I need to do like all these other things, instead of letting my mind wander to those things and like kind of still be firing out like that problem solving side of my mind. I tell myself like, this is a time for you to relax, like Focus on relaxing. Like, be in the moment. Like, right now I'm trying to play, so like I want to play. Right now I'm trying to like
I think
watch
that's so
something,
important.
so I want to watch the movie.
That's so important. Yeah, just like I think of it like a lot of times when I go hiking, when I go to the Adirondacks, that is such a huge time for my mind, for my mental state, because when you are climbing a mountain, you can't worry about anything else. You simply cannot.
It's kind of funny because every single time you take a step in the high peaks, I'm pretty much looking at my feet. Like, where am I gonna? Where can I step? And then I always think about
you can't worry about work. You can't worry about that exam you have coming up. You're hiking. Like I much prefer to leave my phone in my car. Sometimes I take it like in case of emergency.
I like to have it for pictures.
Or pictures, yeah. But I mean, like if somebody else brings their phone, I'll totally leave my phone in the car. I don't like to have it when I'm hiking. And just like being able to just disconnect myself from my daily routine and just like if someone needs to get a hold of me, I'll talk to them tonight. Right now, I'm on a 8-hour hike. And
that's what I found when I went camping last week. It was so nice because I've been really stressed lately with just like I always have like this to-do list and it always grows, and as I check things off I add more things on, so it never like shortens. Like I hardly ever do I check everything off, so like every single day I go to sleep thinking like, oh, I should have done more, I need to do more work, but right now I actually have to sleep. So when I was on the mountains, it's like I can't do any of those things, like, regardless. I'm out here for, like, I'm out here for 2 days. I'm out here for 2 days, there's nothing I can do about it, so let me just
You're
chill.
so much more relaxed than when you actually do have control over that situation, when you just take yourself away from it. And I kind of, like, back to your, like, to-do list, like, checking things off. When I have, like, a lot of things to do, or, like, if I have, like, a busy day at work, I think it's so huge to focus on, like, the fact that I am moving towards the end rather than the fact that I'm way far away from the end.
Yeah.
Just like, or like if I'm impatient, if I have some like trip or big event coming up in like a month or whatever it may be, just like taking it like 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute at a time. Like, know that like I am moving towards this time, this event. I can't move backwards. Every second I'm closer, even, like, so I can just accept that.
Let it ride a little bit more.
And like, when you don't think, like, if I think about something that's a month away, it's going to feel like a long-ass time. But if I just kind of think about what's going on right now, my day's over.
Time's a very weird thing, because lately, like...
So weird.
Like, I've been dating Sydney for over a year now. And it's been, like... super fast. Like, I realize how fast time goes by because every year we go to the Jazz Fest and it's like, I was just here last year, but like it felt like a month ago. And I don't know, for some reason time's been going so quick for me.
But at the same time, there's probably been days or weeks that have felt like they've dragged.
Dude, not even every single week.
Really?
Every single week has been like, I'm back here at Breathe. I know it's Saturday again. And it's just like, people ask me, how's your week? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't remember.
They're like, what'd you do this week? And I was like, I don't know. And if I haven't gone to like a significant event, like if I haven't gone to party in the park, if I didn't go camping, if I haven't done like anything interesting, like that stands out, then I really have no idea what I did. And I think that's kind of nice because that means I'm like living in the moment. I'm always like doing what's now and maybe even looking forward to the future and like planning myself out. But once things are done, like I'm not like reliving those experiences and like holding on to them because that's I can't relive them, and it kind of shows like I am staying more present than before because like time's going quicker and like whatever happens in the past is kind of just like done.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I've been finding that too, just with the way my routine's been for this summer at least, or even during school. Like I mean, I didn't feel like school was too much of a time consumer for me this past semester.
It was quick.
It never really has been. But like, it's like I go to work, I go to jiu-jitsu, I go lift, and then it's the weekend, and I make juice.
I was talking to my mom about this, and we both kind of think it's weird when people say that they're bored and can't find anything to do. It's like, I'm never bored. Like, I always have like something I can do. I usually don't have enough time.
I'm very rarely bored, but I always catch myself if I'm feeling bored, if I'm like, I need something to do. I catch myself because there's always something to do. And if it's nothing, like I can be creating something. I can be, if nothing else, like pick up the guitar, play a little. I'm not great at guitar. I should be getting better at that. There are people. If you're bored, you're boring.
Exactly. If you're bored, you're boring, or like you're unmotivated. Sometimes, like if it's a rainy day, I found this yesterday. I was like, oh, there's nothing to do. Like I don't want to do anything. But at the same time, I was like, I'm just unmotivated and tired. Like just start doing something.
And
like look at your list, see what you have to do, and then like just do something. So I went through the ball and I made a little video and then I wrote a blog.
Awesome. What I did yesterday, I cleaned out my car for the first time
in
probably
nice.
2 months. It was such a mess. I even I got the shop vac out, and that's one of those things, like I got to look at, I'm chipping away at this.
Yeah.
I can't look at how much of a total mess it is. I got to look at each little scrap of garbage I take out of my car is one less scrap of garbage in my car.
That's such an important way to like view tasks, because a lot of times I find like if something is totally chaotic and people are like, what are we gonna do? It's like, go, just like do something.
Because sometimes if you look at the whole, it's intimidating and you don't know where to start.
Start.
But if you step back from that and you say, all right, well, even if I make the slightest change, I've made that change.
Yeah, you chipped away at it.
And I've chipped away at it.
It's huge.
And it's not going, like, at least, like, in the near future, it's not going to revert. Like, maybe next time I have to drive somewhere and I need to, like, eat something in my car, it will revert. But I start chipping away.
Yeah.
Little by little by little, and it will make a difference.
It's such an important quality for, like, leadership. If you walk into a situation that's like complete chaos, I've always
realized that you can just like take steps.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always found myself kind of in that position where like if there's a weird situation going on, like I've always been the person to be like, okay, start doing this. Like you do this, you do this. I always like naturally take command of something. Just I don't know. I guess it's inherent in my personality, just to like take action. I guess it's nice. I'm glad that I have that quality.
Yeah, it's definitely nice.
James Snover told me this. He was in some class, and the professor goes, "Do you think people are born leaders, or do you think leadership is a trait that you can learn?" And James raised his hand. He's like, "I think it's just something you're born with." And then this other kid goes, "I disagree. I think leadership is something that you can learn." And then James retorts, "That's what people who aren't born to be leaders say." He's totally killed this kid. He's like, yeah, well, people who aren't born to be leaders will always say that you can learn to be leaders. And the kid was just like, oh. It's totally crushed this kid's dreams. But I think you can definitely learn leadership qualities.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. And I mean, I think one of the big things, if you ever look at the military, not everybody's super into the military. Like, I personally would not love to be a part of it. I've thought about it at times.
I've definitely thought about it. I've gone through many processes to be a part of it, but I never pulled the trigger.
It's because you got flat feet?
Semi-flat feet, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so huge. People often don't realize that, like, when someone goes through the military, it's huge on just, like, team and leadership. Like, you don't just learn how to be a leader, but first you learn how to follow. You learn how to like respect and appreciate.
You have to learn the process. You have to be part of the process.
Yeah,
of like following orders, like finding that regimented lifestyle.
I think things usually run pretty smoothly because people like understand their place and understand who is the leader, and then understand how do I become that leader.
That's a huge concept when it comes to like employment even.
Yeah.
That's something I really look for in an employer, like communication. What's my task? Like don't just have me be like, have my task up in the air. I want to know what I'm supposed to do so I can actually do it and like do it well.
That's a huge thing that I don't think enough people really ask themselves. It's like, what is my task? When you have a big monster of a problem coming at you, really, what is my task?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to clean my car. Well, I'll go back to that example. But there's so much stuff to be done. what really is my task? I don't just go out there and clean my car. I go out there and I bring a garbage bag and I take out all the scraps of paper in my car. That's step one. That's my task first. And then I have to get all of the dirty clothes out, all of the gym clothes that I may have just thrown in the back seat. That's a task. So, like, actually breaking things down, looking at, like, what do I need to do? Because it's not always just the sentence you start with.
Yeah.
Got an alarm going off. Excuse that.
And that interview that I had at Midtown was a group interview, so there were 7 of us. And I really thought it was a pretty cool way to do an interview because it was totally a way for them to screen, like, how are these people's leadership qualities, how are these people's speaking abilities, and...
Yeah, tell me more about that. Like, how is that structured?
So it was structured, like, we all sit down at this long table, and the guy goes up there, the fitness director goes up there, and he talks like, okay, this is Midtown's history, blah, 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 this is kind of, like, what our company's about, gave us a little bit of information. Then, like, we had these different tasks. The first one was we draw a card from like a little baggie, and it's a word. I had the word optimism, and we had 2 minutes to write down what that word means to us, and then share it to then we had 1 minute to speak and, like, tell the group what it meant. So, like, I had optimism, and I basically, like, wrote down a little thing, like, real quick, 30 seconds, I was done. Then I waited for everyone else to fill out, and, like, people had a little bit. Some people had a lot of stuff on a piece of paper. One lady wrote a whole sheet of paper, and it was like people are scratching things out, and I was like, I don't really know, like, if I should write more or what. But I was like, this is good. Like, I feel confident with my answer.
I mean,
he pulled
quality over quantity.
Yeah, he said time's up, and basically I said, okay, optimism. I think it's a way for you to look at a situation objectively, and even if it's a bad situation, you know, kind of take the best out of it, and 1, see, like, the great things about it, see what's so positive about it, but 2, if it's negative, or if it's positive, see how it's an opportunity for you to grow. So, as for, like, optimism, I thought of this as
You think optimism or pessimism are objective viewpoints?
No, I think, to be optimistic means to look at a situation objectively, and kind of take in all the different factors that may be positive, may be negative, and then convert those in your mind to say, okay, how can I grow from this experience, or how can I appreciate this experience?
It's like drawing the, looking at the best case scenario. Of course, it's looking at semi-realistically or feasibly. I guess I could say feasibly what good.
Yeah, what good can come out of it. So, like, maybe, like, one example I kind of told Sydney, because when she went to the Adirondacks with me, she was totally shocked by, like, the trails. Because she hasn't been, like, out of Webster Park, like, as far as it comes to hiking. So, like, the trails were tough, and even though it's pretty flat ground, like, there was a ton of mosquitoes, it was muddy, like, it was weird terrain, and she was, like, kind of hating it at first, and I was like...
This is definitely the buggiest time of year.
Yeah, for real.
For another, a month or so.
I told her, like, just look at the situation. I was like, get through this, let's get to the campsite, let's camp. I guarantee you tomorrow, like, you're gonna go through these trails and it's gonna be way easier. I'm like, you're gonna get tougher from this. Like, you're building character traits. Like, just push through this, you're gonna be fine.
That's the thing.
And that's the thing. Like, she was really miserable, but for me in that situation, I would say, like, if I were in that situation, it's, like, completely tough. Like, my first time doing a high peak, it was a total shock to me, and it was a struggle.
That was a great hike.
It was hardcore, but, like, I'm way tougher because of it.
And if you think back to that, like, think about that day. Do you really remember it in a negative light?
No,
do you remember
awesome.
the bad moods of that
awesome.
hike? I like the majority of people I know. I don't think I would really tell anyone that they're not in shape to do a high peak. It's going to be tough for some people.
It's mental.
No doubt.
You can always take breaks and stuff like that,
but
too.
I mean, like, we're humans. We are made to walk 20 miles a day, whatever it's going to be. We are. That's.
It's chipping away at it. Every step is a chip away.
Chipping away, absolutely. I love that you bring that back. But totally, yeah, it's just one foot in front of the other, and you're getting closer to the summit, and then you're getting closer to the trailhead after that.
So that was the first exercise they had us do at the interview. The second one was we split into different teams, and it was like 2 or 3 people per team, and then on a big piece of paper, on one side you write, what do you expect? What do you want out of a company as far as management? Like, what do you look for a good employer, and then the other side is how do you like to be rewarded. So you come up with a list of those things and we present it. So I took charge and like I said, like one half of this sheet, another person in my group did the other half of the sheet, and I could totally see that like this is a way for them to tell you to like see what core values you have, and then like again speaking skills, presentation skills, stuff like that, how you can link different ideas together. And I thought it was a cool interview process. Like I definitely thought I killed it, and I could see how I was stronger than other people. But I'm hoping to get another call back. I mean, they said that they were going to reach out to us by Friday. They said maybe not Friday because it's July 4th weekend.
There's a holiday.
But he's like, yeah, we're going to get back to you soon and bring you in for another interview process. So I'm hoping to go back there. It seems pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I like kind of cool interview processes like that. Like starting at LA was basically like I got a call and they asked me to interview that evening, and I went in and interviewed that evening, and then a couple of days later they offered me the job. And then just like from the time they offered me the job to the time I actually started was like way too long.
Way too long?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You're like, what the hell's going on
That
here?
was a pain in the ass. I think one thing was like I put in like a funky date. Like I didn't know the exact date of my certification, and I think that actually ended up biting me in the ass and pushing back my process. And then,
but still, like you had to like follow up, and they were like, "Oh yeah, okay, we're getting around to it." Sure.
The organization was pretty bad. The communication to me as the new hiree was pretty bad. But I'm there now. I'm established.
Very well established, indeed.
I'm the master.
Master trainer.
Master trainer.
Master Gray.
If I'm in, like, I don't feel like I should quite be called a master trainer, but I'll take it. But when the Chipotle opened up next door to us there, one of the guys came in and he was talking about the interview process that they do at Chipotle, and like basically they just have a bunch of people like come hang out for a day, and I think they do like some like maybe like team building games.
Yeah.
And like they hang out and chat for a day.
That's how you get to know if someone's right for the team.
It's not even like a formal interview. It's just like I feel like it gives a way better idea of like what someone's all about, just like kind of hanging out for a day.
I can definitely tell companies who have like these abstract interview processes.
I think it's cool.
It's cool, but I think they probably had someone come in and was like those corporate building type of people who like assess, like they analyze like their productivity, and they're like, okay, this is a way that you can be better at your hiring process and stuff like that.
I think like
Google will probably have some crazy thing like that. You know?
I'm sure.
They make you play like hopscotch or some shit.
I'm sure. You know what, like, maybe I'm biased, but I really do think Chipotle is a really cool company. I think they have a little bit more scruples to them than a lot of
like a Moe's.
Places. Yeah. I think Moe's is. I don't know which one came first. I'm guessing Chipotle came first. And
I've known Chipotle since they had one in Texas. They didn't have Moe's in Texas.
Well, like when you lived there originally.
Yeah, when I lived in Texas,
so
like way before I moved too. So like back in 2002, there was definitely a Chipotle around.
Yeah, I ate at a Chipotle in Colorado like 2005 probably.
I didn't know about Moe's till I moved here, but like some restaurants are they're regional.
Yeah,
all over the U.S.
Moe's like. They have like more ingredients, but I feel like just nothing's as high quality. I feel like it's so much more real at Chipotle.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's not GMO now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like
whether you think GMOs are bad or not. I mean,
whether or not, yeah,
non-GMOs aren't going to be worse than GMOs.
No doubt.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was saying to Dustin the other day.
I'm not gonna nitpick on GMOs or not because I really don't know. As far as that,
it's a weird thing,
and the definition is definitely muddy to me.
Am I a GMO? My dad's Vietnamese. My mom's Irish.
I mean, the definition's muddy because like before actual like genetic engineering was a thing, there was
selective breeding.
Selective breeding, totally. So to say that that's not genetic modification and whatever.
Right, two plants that would never come in contact in nature.
Yeah,
can come together and breed.
Or like killer bees. That's a bad thing that came from selective breeding.
Oh, really? Killer bees.
Africanized honeybees. You take like your American, or maybe it's like an English honeybee, whatever it was, and they crossed it with like a hardier African breed of bee, and they just got the qualities that they didn't want. they got like the hardiness, but they got like way more aggression. And I think killer bees are triggered by carbon dioxide.
So you breathe.
They see carbon dioxide as a threat to their hive.
Oh fuck!
And they'll like it's not even they're not like, each individual killer bee is like no more harmful than a honeybee. They're probably
they'll swarm way more intensely.
They're more apt to sting you, and they'll chase you way farther. Is what killer bees do. So like the whole hive pretty much will come at you if you get too close, and they will chase you very far. And I mean, like,
Jesus, you watch this like a Discovery show.
But yeah, I mean, if you piss off a swarm of regular honeybees enough, you could die from regular honeybees. It's like you get enough of that toxin in your system, you die. Yeah, straight up.
Your body freaks out.
Even if you're not allergic, like.
Dude, I got stung by a bee at your house the other day.
Yeah, I mean, they have venom. Like, they can, and it's just such a small amount because it's a bee-sized amount.
I was just thinking, I got a ton of mosquito bites when I was camping, and I was thinking, like,
those don't.
What if I were like super, like, sensitive to these types of things, and I got bitten by 300 mosquitoes? Like, could I die from mosquito bites?
I don't think you could die from a mosquito bite in and of itself.
Because I think it's more of a reaction to like the whole.
I think maybe if you have like a higher sensitivity to like whatever enzyme is in their saliva. Like they have some like anti-clotting agent in their saliva, and that's why we get the irritating bumps. I'm sure there's people who have much worse reactions to that.
Oh yeah, my mom when she gets one mosquito bite, it'll be like that big, that big. Like mine was normal size.
Nasty.
But that bee sting was a bitch, man. I was like, come on! I didn't even swat at it or anything. Like I was just standing there, and whenever bees come on me, I'm just like, whatever. Like it's gonna go away. It's no big deal.
I'm fine with bees. Like furry bees are fine with me. Wasps, like the sleek, like aerodynamically engineered things. I don't like those.
Like a yellow jacket kind of thing.
Yellow jacket. Yeah, I feel like they're just like the pissed off, like less helpful version of bees.
Well, I see.
They're like, wow, we're gonna chew up paper to make our nest. We don't want honey. Fuck you.
I see the yellow jackets all the time. They're what they're called? They're like a Eurasian yellow jacket.
Like you've seen the giant ones lately.
Oh yeah,
right?
those
like,
massive
I think they're like
ones.
Giant European hornets. I don't know. The first time I saw them was this year, and I saw like 2 in a day.
Yeah, those aren't cool. They're stinger.
Are they from
pulses.
around here?
I don't know. There's
they're
a
huge
black
though.
beetle.
They're like 1.5 inches long.
Oh yeah, they're huge.
Ooh.
There's a black beetle coming around now that's invasive to our area, and they had to cut down like 2,000 trees, or maybe it was like 2,000 acres of trees.
And that's not the ash borer.
No,
else?
It's not the ash borer. It's some other type of beetle.
Those aren't really around here, are they?
The ash borers?
Emerald ash borers.
They were. I mean, Sydney's dad was telling me that when she lived over on Bay, that they had like a big problem with them, and that
really?
they'd eat leaves and whatever, the bad stuff they do to trees, and like that was back in probably like early 90s, like 95-ish.
Okay.
96, but I think they eradicated most of that problem.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, it's weird. Just like that. Those are some of the things. Like, whenever we do things on any scale, you can't possibly predict all of the consequences of your action. You can do your best. I try really hard to think about how my action is going to affect everything, but there's always going to be something that you can't predict, and like zebra mussels, killer bees, this and that, like
Wu-Tang killer bees.
Yeah, but I mean things that you do in completely good intentions that you don't see the outcomes going awry. It can always end up biting you in the ass, and then after the fact, you're like, oh shit. that's like why I worry about like human genetic modification. I worry a ton about that because
like getting your baby to have blue eyes.
Yeah, I feel like there's gonna be things that we can't predict. Like I feel like there are qualities that are subjective in humans, and there's qualities that are objectively better. Like being stronger is better, being faster is better, being smarter is better. So I mean, there's qualities that no one's going to argue are less favorable. And if we have control over that, of course everybody's going to have those qualities.
But it's kind of like the Red Queen theory where we never really evolved to be better. Like, yes, we're better than our ancestors thousands of years ago, but our environment has changed around that, and the way we live, like our social constructs are different, and they progress at the exact same rate, so everything's relative. So even though we take 2 steps forward beyond our environment also takes 2 steps forward.
We're like on a treadmill.
Yeah, exactly. We're on a treadmill. That's like the whole concept of like the Red Queen. I think it comes from an Alice in Wonderland.
I'm definitely not super familiar with that whole thing, Red Queen thing.
It's pretty interesting. It's basically exactly the same thing as what I just said, like running on a treadmill. You're running, but you never get anywhere. You never really progress.
Yeah, and I guess like one of the big things, like as far as like sexual reproduction, like that exists because it keeps us keeps our immune systems changing, so that's
exactly the reason why sexual reproduction is the way it is.
Yeah,
it's all about immune systems.
It's about immune system, and it's like if we didn't sexually reproduce, if we didn't have that change up between every generation, the bacteria and viruses would just be so much better equipped within a couple generations to mess us up.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big things I worry about with like human genetic modification. Like I feel like a lot of qualities are going to migrate in the same direction, and then where does that leave like immune systems? Are they going to be doing something as far as immune systems still? Like how much of like are people going to still be like sexually reproducing, and then just like the zygote is modified, or what? Like,
yeah, it's weird.
I know they can do this shit already.
Yeah.
They can.
They just don't
splice
like,
genes. Yeah, I know they do it on plants because fuck plants, man.
Yeah, I heard from the podcast with GMOs that Joe Rogan did recently. The guy said that most apples that we eat are not like the trees. The apples are
They're not actually like
they don't grow from seeds.
Yeah.
So like
it's all like physical splicing of
it's just clippings.
Branches.
Yeah, exactly. It's just clippings because the selective breeding that we get to like produce like a Red Delicious or whatever type of
wouldn't
apple,
like produce the same
generation
after
it's
generation.
like a donkey, right? Was like a mule and a horse, you get a donkey or
and
whatever the combination is. Like
mules aren't
they're sterile. Like one of those things is sterile, so they can't reproduce.
Yeah, that's interesting. How that all pans
How was
out.
your visit with Marcy?
It was good, man. It was good that she.
It's a nice surprise, right?
It was a surprise. Very nice.
That's something that I've been really trying to do is like focus on relationship building, and like whether it's reaching out to new strangers and making new friends, or staying in contact with old friends, or making sure I get to see all my friends. Like we got to see Zane the other day. That was so nice. I haven't seen him in over a year.
Yeah, totally. I barely ever see it. Like I'll see him at Wegmans every once in a while.
Exactly. So like I'm gonna go visit Pardo in DC tomorrow for a few days. You just visited your brother like a month ago. Or it was less than that.
That was a lot of fun too.
So that's pretty cool. Like I'm really trying to travel, see people.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep good relations with people, just because like we are social beasts. I think it's so hugely beneficial to have a wide variety of people on your side.
That's one of the main reasons why I was so like unhappy with Oswego, because like I lived off campus, I was living with girls, and I pretty much enclosed myself in my house. Like
that was your own doing. You could have been going out. Like we were out a lot of the time.
Yeah, it was my own doing, but at the same time, like I was so focused and like introspective at the time that I didn't really want to go out. But like it
also
definitely paid a toll.
I definitely at Oswego I didn't feel like I had like the right avenues to meeting new people. Most of my people I met through outdoor club, which I do think was a good way to meet people.
Yeah.
Outdoor club and just like slacklining outdoors. That's how I met a lot of my friends there. And I guess that is a good way to do it. But I mean the way most people, the social mobility of most people kind of depended on bars and parties.
Yeah,
and I'm not super into like meeting new people through those avenues, because generally speaking, the kind of people I want to be around might not be out at the bar because they want to be hiking early in the morning.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But, like, after I graduated high school, I stopped dating Nicole, and most of my friends are out because I was a year younger than all my friends. All my friends were at different schools, so I didn't really have a lot of friends, like, hang out with. And I was at MTC, you were in Oswego, like, everyone was gone. But it was really cool to have, like, this whole year, a little bit longer, like a year and a half, where I could just focus on myself. And, like, I learned a lot about myself, and I was able to grow that relationship with myself. Because, like, obviously we need to be social with everyone else and, like, build a relationship with others. But I think building the relationship with yourself is very important.
Totally.
So I went from, like, a pretty balanced life in high school where I had, like, a lot of good social, like, community. I had a lot of social support, a lot of friends. But I also had a lot of time to focus on myself. But then when I was on my own for, like, a year and a half, I had a lot of time to grow and, like, focus on myself. And it was really good for me. But then I was super imbalanced. I was on one side of the spectrum. Didn't have that social connection with anyone else. And then merging into Oswego. Didn't like Oswego. Like, it just wasn't good for me. So I was still reclusive, but with a lot more, like, social stimulus. So it kind of, like, made me resentful and, like, just, like, even more kind of, like, pissed off. And then, like, after I, like, injured my foot, came back to Rochester, I started hanging out with Zane and just, like, being more social in general. And, like, now I'm back, right in a nice middle ground. Maybe a little bit too social. I think I'd like to have a little more time for myself, but...
Vagrant.
But, like,
social animal.
Like, being in a relationship is tough. Like, you don't get as much time to be alone. But, like...
Sure.
There's always pros and cons to everything. So...
Yeah, totally.
It's good, though, to balance these relationships, but make sure you take time for yourself.
Totally. Yeah, I think, of course, pros and cons to everything. You do need some time as an individual. You do need some time as a friend, as a social group, as a partner.
I found that I had a huge lack of testosterone in my life. Like, I was so introspective that I was just, like, all about, like, whatever, like, energy levels that I surrounded myself with, it was only the energy levels that was coming from myself. Like, I had no, like, outside energy coming to, like, spark me.
Your energy from yourself was just little weenie boy energy.
It just wasn't strong enough. Like, I was living, like, my family's, like, predominantly girls. I was living in a house of girls when I was in Oswego. And, like, I think the introspective energy is, like, reflective and, like, more, I guess, feminine in a sense, where you kind of, like, well, at least, like, for me, I was, like, very reflective and, like, trying to, like...
I mean, how are you supposed to have a pissing contest with yourself?
Yeah, you can't.
That's the ultimate, like, testosterone indicator is some kind of pissing contest.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was always comparing myself to myself, and, like...
No, you gotta compare yourself to other people.
I was doing a lot of reading.
Aspects.
I was doing a lot of learning, and, like, I think learning and reading...
learning is for little girls.
Well, I think it's a feminine type of thing. Like, you have to be very, like, absorbing. You have to, like, be very open-minded. You have to, like, be relaxed and, like, not, like, have a huge ego. You have to be more passive when you're learning. You have to let things, like, come over you versus, like, go out there and, like, take charge. Like, I can't, like, read a book and be like, no, this book is stupid. Like, I don't want this book. Like, I have to be yielding to the information. I have to be yielding to change and, like,
fucking
willing to do things.
Up, man.
Yeah. So, like, it was a lack of, like, drive in that sense where I had, like, competition.
All right. I feel like competition is such an inherent, like, thing that you do with your bros.
Yeah. It's more of a male energy. It's more masculine.
I suppose, yeah. I hate to, like, box into, like, traditional gender roles.
It's not like really gender roles, but it's like the yin and yang. Like,
I don't see, like, groups of girls, like, hey, man, I bet I could spit farther than you.
Yeah. And, like, I mean, obviously there's carryover with everything. Like, obviously girls can be competitive. And I'm not trying to, like, say that there's, like, like, men are better than women or vice versa, but there's distinct differences in their energies.
Like, you remember, like, we used to lift with Andrew, and, like, we'd bench press, and, like, I would let Andrew do his set first, and then I would always do one more. Always do one extra, and, like...
Or, like, if you went first, he would do one more rep.
Yeah. And it's just, like, shit like that. Like,
I'll tell you what.
I win. I gotta win.
I'll tell you what, though. I really enjoy subscribing to powerlifting females on social media because I find them way more... I think we spoke about this on the last show. I think they're super... inspiring because like for the most part you never see girls who are strong, and a lot of these girls are stronger than me. So it's like I try to put in a ton of work. I'm sure I put in a lot of work. I know I do.
It's hugely growing in popularity, like the female powerlifting community, which I think is awesome.
When I see a girl who's successful and like very strong, then I'm like, she put in a ton of work. Like, she knows what's up. And it's just more inspiring. When I see like Chad Wesley Smith squat like 700 pounds, I'm like, yeah, it's 700 pounds. The dude's a beast.
Did you see his like
the ladder
2,000 rep?
Oh yeah,
2,000 pound total in
like
a minute.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
It was 37 seconds or something like 36.
34.
Yeah, 34 seconds.
And he put up a 2,000 pound total.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
what a beast! Like it's just like so far away from like my abilities, and it's like not as inspiring. Like obviously it's super cool.
Yeah, but I guess it's almost like that same like. I have this huge task in front of me. You can still keep chipping away at that. With your frame, you may not be hoisting a 2,000 pound total anytime soon.
Obviously, I'm a lot smaller. When I see like a girl, even if she's weaker than me, but like she's got like a solid squat or solid deadlift, usually that's the case. Like female benching doesn't impress me as much or like motivate me as much because they naturally don't bench as much. Yeah. But they some of them bench pretty heavy. But when I see a girl who's like squats like maybe 10 pounds less than me, I'm like, damn, like I got one. It's like that kind of like that pissing contest. It's like, damn, I gotta step it up. Like this girl's like
she's
stronger.
Probably like 120 pounds.
Yeah, exactly, right. So I'm just like, damn, like she's super strong. Like she squats more than double her body weight, or at least double her body weight. Like I need to step my game up. But like it's super cool to see that. I really enjoy it.
Definitely. I think we're gonna wrap this one up, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you all.
Take it easy, everyone. I don't really have too much to say.
Yeah. Peace out.